With example 8 in module 5.1, we've just got a quick and relatively simple example where we are just making sure, bottom line, making sure that we know how to plug numbers into a function and when necessary, plug numbers into a calculator. A lot of the business applications that we work are going to involve not tricky calculations, but calculations that you can't really do by hand. So making sure that we know how to use our calculators is important to find the right results, to get the right values, which is not to say that we're relying on our calculators to understand what we're doing. You're always going to have to show your work and explain your work, but you're also going to need to get the right result to get full credit for what you're doing in this class, and some of this stuff just can't be done by hand. For example, here we're given the function f of x equals 1.2 times e to the 2x minus 0.3, and we want to evaluate f of 3. Nothing tricky to start us off here. F of 3 is just the function where we input 3 for x. So 1.2 e to the 2 times 3 power minus 0.3. Nothing tricky about the next step either. We're working through our order of operations. In the exponent, we've got 2 times 3, which reduces to 6. And then we're again working through our order of operations. We need to work out the exponents. Specifically, e to the 6th power is what needs to come next. And that's where we have our trusty calculator. And I've got a picture that I grabbed from the internet of the calculator that I like to use. Your calculator may be different, and the buttons on your calculator may look a little different, but here's what mine looks like. I've got the TI-30X2S, and pay no attention to the sine function, the trigonometric function that's displayed on the screen here. That's just what came with the image that I got from the internet. But to evaluate e to the 6th power on this calculator, I will press the button second and then the button LN. And if you look, let me see if I can kind of circle it here. The second function for the LN button is e to the x power, which is exactly what I want. I want e to the 6th power, so I'm going to type second ln to get that e to the x power, and then my power is 6. So second ln gets me the e to a power, and then I'll type my power 6, and then get my result there. And as it turns out, my result is approximately, that's what these wavy lines mean. I'm rounding to the nearest hundredth here. My result is approximately 403.43. And then I continue multiplying by 1.2 and then subtracting 0.3 to get 483.81. And in each one of these steps, I'm approximating, rounding to the nearest hundredth or rounding to 2 decimal places. But you'll also note that I'm using my calculator in each step so that I've got, what I'm writing on the slide is rounded to the nearest hundredth, is rounded to 2 decimal places. But I'm going to leave all of those unrounded numbers in the calculator and let the calculator work on those numbers so that I can get less round off error. I can get a more precise, more accurate answer here. So when we have to lean on the calculator, which we sometimes do, especially with applications, as we'll see, when we have to lean on the calculator, best tip there is don't round the numbers you're working with until the very end, meaning just let the calculator hold all that information and keep using that information in the calculator. There's a button, another button on your calculator that's labeled ANS for answer. The answer button on your calculator doesn't give you the answer. It allows you to continue using the answer from the calculation that you just did, and that's a lifesaver. It lets you just, instead of trying to like type everything in that you just got in your last step and having to retype it all in, you can just use the answer key on your calculator to say, take that answer that I just got and then do some more math on it. And if you have questions on how, there's so many calculators out there, I don't want to turn this into a lesson in how to work calculators beyond what I've already said here. But if you have questions on how your calculator works, the tutors in the tutoring lab, or I'd be happy to answer those questions one-on-one in one of my live sessions. Bring those questions to either me or the tutors, and we won't hesitate to help you out there.